class into my YouTube channel. This is your teacher, Mr. Herman M. Soriano Jr. II, your math teacher. I hope you will enjoy watching my video lectures about your lessons, and please do not forget to like, to subscribe, and to hit the notification bell for you to get updated to my new uploads. Happy learning!
Hello everyone, good day. This is your pre-calculus teacher, Mr. Herman M. Soriano Jr. II. And for the first section of this discussion, may I just give to you the overview of the subject or of this course, the pre-calculus. So at the end of this course, you must be able to apply the concepts and solve problems involving conic sections, systems of nonlinear functions, series and mathematical induction. You must also be able to solve problems involving circular and trigonometric functions, even trigonometric identities, and you must also apply the concepts involving polar coordinate system. Now, the pre-calculus subject is a prerequisite subject of the subject basic calculus, which you will be taking this subject on your second semester. Moving on, pre-calculus subject has 5 main topics. First is the conic sections, secondly is the series and mathematical induction, third is circular functions, fourth is trigonometric identities and equations, and lastly will be the polar coordinate system. But today, we will just focus ourselves in the first main topic, which is all about the conic sections. And if you observe, conic sections, again, is divided into 4 subtopics. We have the circle, the parabola, the ellipse, and the hyperbola. Because generally, when we say conic section, these are the 4 conic sections: the circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. But this time, we will just focus ourselves discussing about circle. Okay? Now, let's start the discussion giving the definition of a circle. It says here that let C be a fixed point in the plane. So let that be your fixed point. The set of all points P equidistant to that C is called the circle. So that's the circle. So the points that are around this fixed point, which is equidistant from that particular point C, is the circle. And the fixed point is called the center, and the fixed distance from the fixed point to any point on the circle is called the radius. So we need to take these 2 definitions or 2 terms, the center and the radius, and even this is the circle per se. Now we need to remember the x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. This is the standard form of the circle if your center is at the origin in the intersection of your x and your y axis. So we call that as the standard form of the circle. We have also another standard form of a circle if the center is at HK, meaning anywhere on the Cartesian coordinate plane. So we have the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared and the radius, which is equal to r squared, or the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of 1 minus k squared is equal to r squared, and the center in this event is the HK, while here the center is at 0, 0 or at the origin. Moving on, the general form of the equation of the circle is written as x squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e is equal to 0. So remember, these two forms are called the standard form of the circle, also called as the center radius form. While this form, the x squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e is equal to 0, is called the general form. Furthermore, we can consider the following cases on the existence of a circle. First, if your r squared is greater than 0, the graph is a circle with center. However, if your r squared is equal to 0, then the graph is a single point, or it is just a mere point. Lastly, if we have or you have r squared which is less than 0, meaning it's a negative number, then the graph is a null set, meaning we cannot graph the circle if we have a negative r squared. Now, let's have some exercises. Determine whether the graph of the equation is a circle, a point, or the null set. So we will follow the given conditions here for us to decide whether the given standard form of a circle is a circle, a dot, or a null circle, or a null set, I should say. Okay, let's take the first example. X squared plus y squared is equal to 25. From the given condition in the part of the definition of a circle, if your r squared is greater than 0, then it is a circle. If we have r squared which is equal to 0, then that's a point. While if you have r squared which is less than 0, it is a null set, or we cannot graph the circle. It is not a circle. So here, this given equation is in the form of x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So what is the value of your r squared? Your r squared is equal to 25. So that's 25. So is 25 greater, equal, or less than 0? Yes, you are correct. R squared is greater than 0 because 25 is greater than 0. You are correct. Therefore, the given equation is a circle. Let's take the second example. Following the same condition, r squared greater than 0, that's a circle. R squared equals 0, that's a point. R squared less than 0, that's a null set. So here, we have this different form of, or different standard forms of a circle. In the first example, the center is at the origin. In the second example, the center is at h care. Particularly, let's take the center first. Here, the given equation of the circle is in the form of x minus h squared plus y minus k, the quantity squared, is equal to r squared. What is the value of h? The value of h is, you are correct, that's negative 1. How about k? You are correct, that's positive 2. Meaning, the center of the circle is at hk, or we have the center as negative 1, 2. So at this point, this is the center of the given circle. But we need to know whether is it really a circle, a point, or it's a null set. If I'm going to ask you what is the value of r squared, yes, you are correct. It's negative 5. Now, another question. Is negative 5 greater than 0? No. Is negative 5 equals 0? Of course, no. Therefore, here r squared is less than 0 because it is negative. It is less than 0. So we therefore conclude that the given equation of circle is a null set. So that's how we determine whether a given equation of circle or the graph of the given equation of circle is a circle, a point, or a null set.
Alright, for example number 2, let's try to express x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 2y minus 4 is equal to 0 into center radius form, or the so-called standard form of the equation of the circle. So, if you observe, the given equation is in general form. So, let's try to put all the x beside each other. So, this would be x squared minus 4x. We have y plus y squared minus 2y. And let's transpose that 4 out on the other side, or at the right side of the equation. So this one becomes positive 4. Then let's apply the completing the square method. X squared minus 4x plus the square of the half of the middle term, which is equal to, let's take this as our scratch, negative 4, get the half first, this would be equal to negative 2. Then take the square of it, so this becomes positive 4. So let's add positive 4 here. The same manner in the terms of the y variable. So this is plus y squared minus 2y plus the same. Let's get the half, the square of the half of negative 2. Get first the half, which is equal to negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1. Get the square, that becomes positive 1. So let's add 1. Is equal to, copy 4, and whatever the constant or numbers being added in the left side should also be added at the right side. So we have plus 4 plus 1. Now let's simplify. Let's do some kind of factoring here. So this would be equal to x minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 4 plus 4 plus 1 is equal to 9. Saan nanggaling yung 2 at saka negative 1? So if you observe, parehas lang siya pagkakuha natin doon sa negative 4 divided by 2. Always, yan na yung magiging factor mo. Ganun din dito, we get this negative or minus 1 here. Yon. Negative 1. Hawa? Sige, pagpatuloy natin. So if you observe, this equation is now in the form of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Therefore, this equation is now the center radius form, or the standard form of equation. Now, another things we need to know about the equation is, what is the center of the circle, which is hk, and the radius of the circle, which is r. Which is r? The center, based on the form, it's the value of h. What is the value of h? We have 2. How about k? That's 1. So we have a circle with center at 2, 1. And a radius which is equal to, what do you think is the radius? It's positive 3. Not 9, because that's the r squared. R squared is equal to 9. Now, if you want to know about the radius, we need to take the square root of 9. That's cancelled. So your r becomes the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. So the center of the circle is at 2, 1, and with a radius of 3. If you try to graph that one, let's take this one. Let's move the skateboard. And may I just clean it? Okay, let's have a graph of the equation, which is x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 2y minus 4, which is equal to 0. We know that the center of the circle is at 2, 1. So let's locate 2, 1 in the Cartesian coordinate plane. That's 1, 2, 1. Both positive, first quadrant. So that's the center at 2, 1. Now, since the radius is equal to 3, we need to count 3 units to the right, 3 units to the left, 3 units upward, 3 units downward, because that's the measurement of the radius. So let's try to have a circle or the Cartesian coordinate plane. We need to move 3 units. 1, 2, 3. How about here? It's 1, 2, 3. Upward also. It's 1, no, at the center. 1, 2, 3. From the center, it's 1, 2, 3. Now, if you will connect this with a smooth curve, it should look like a circle with a radius equal to 3. So that's how we rewrite or express a general form of equation into its standard form, taking the center and even the radius, then and also graphing the circle. Okay, let's take this third example. We have x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Let's again try to express the given general equation of the circle into its standard form or its center radius form. First is we need to rewrite this one, 8x plus followed by your 8x plus followed by your y squared plus, but we don't have any linear term on the y variable. That's why we need to proceed to transposing your 15. So this will become negative 15. Now, proceed to completing the square. We have x squared plus copy your 8x plus adding a certain value. What is that value? First, we need to get the half of your 8, that's 4, then get the square of it, then that's 16. 16 plus y squared. Since we don't have a linear term in the y variable, just leave it that way. Then just copy negative 15 and add whatever the constant being added on the left side of the equation. And that is positive 16. Now let's factor this out. This will become x, yes, 8 divided by 2 is 4. That's positive 4. Put your exponent 2. Then copy your y squared is equal to, what is negative 15 plus 16? It's positive 1. So we are now in the standard form of the circle. even though we don't have the linear term on the y squared. This means that the value of k is equal to 0. Now let's determine the center of the circle. So what is h? Yes, that's negative 4. How about k? As I've mentioned, it's 0. And what is the length of the radius? It's 1. Why? Because your r squared is equal to 1 and the square root of your 1 is equal to 1. So we have these two important parts of the circle for you to graph it. We have negative 4, 0 as the center, and the length of the radius, which is equal to 1. Let's try to graph. We have negative 4, 0, meaning the center is along the x-axis or within the x-axis. So we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. That's the C, which is negative 4, 0. Again, what is the length of the radius? The length of the radius is equal to 1. So just count 1 unit to the left, 1 unit to the right, 1 unit to the or upward, 1 unit downward. So the circle or the graph of the circle would look like this way. That's how we express the general form of the circle into its standard form for you to know or determine your center and the length of the radius, and even for you to graph the circle. For the fourth example, we have x squared plus y squared plus 2x less 6y plus 12 is equal to 0. The same objective, we need to take the standard form of this general form for us to get the center, the length of the radius, and for us to be able to graph this circle. Again, rewrite x squared followed by positive 2x. Rewrite your y squared followed by negative 6y. Then transpose the constant on the other side. So this is negative 12. We have x squared plus 2x plus a certain value. And what is that value? Take the half of 2. That 2, that is 1. Take the square, that's 1. So that is 1 plus y squared minus 6y plus a certain constant value. And what is that? Take the half of negative 6. That's negative 3 square, negative 3. Then it's positive 9. So add positive 9 is equal to copy your negative 12 and add whatever the values you've added in the left side. So we have 1 and 9. Now, we need to factor this out. We have x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that's positive 1. Put square plus. Factor that out. We have y. It's negative 6 divided by 2 is minus 3 or negative 3 is equal to what's negative 12 plus 1, that's negative 11. How about negative 11 plus 9, that's negative 2. Right? Now, what is the center of the circle? What is the value of h? It's negative 1. Take note, it's plus. It should be minus for us to write 1. But since it's plus, take the negative. How about the value of k? Yes, it's positive 3. It's minus. So the value of k is positive 3. How about the radius? The radius is What do you think? What is r squared? R squared is equal to negative 2. Taking the square root of negative 2, it will lead us into, of course, square root of negative 2. Or, I'm sorry, just erase that 2. Your r is equal to, we have square root of 2i. So it is an imaginary number or a complex number. What does it mean? What does it imply? Yes, since the length of the radius is a negative number, and based on the definition, when your r squared is less than 0, the graph of the circle will be a null set. It implies that we cannot graph the circle because the length of the radius is negative. Remember that the radius r is equal to distance. And remember, walang negative na distansya. There is no such negative distance. Okay. Let's take this for our fifth example, which is a different exercise. So here, our task is to get the standard form of the circle given a certain condition. The condition given here is the value of the center and the length of the radius. So let's try to find the standard form of the equation of the circle. So, may I ask you, what is the standard form of a circle with a center of 0, 0? Yes, we have x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. This is the standard form of a circle with center at 0, 0. Meaning, the only thing we need to change here is the value of the r squared. So what is r squared? It is, yes, 25. So this will be the standard form of the circle with this kind of condition, center 0, 0 and radius at 5. If you are going to ask me why 25, because the given here is the radius. And we know that is r only, that's r is equal to 5. And based on the standard form, we need to take the square of the radius. That's why 5 squared is equal to 25. For the sixth example, let's try to find the standard form of the circle with these following conditions. The center is at negative 3, 7 with radius equal to square root of 10. If you observe, the center is not in the origin. It has a value of h and k, meaning we will use the standard form, the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared is equal to r squared. We just need to input the value of h, which is equal to negative 3, and the value of k, which is equal to positive 7. Let's put the following data in the standard formula. So x minus what is h? Since we have minus negative 3, it will become positive 3 squared plus y minus, yes, it's 7 squared is equal to, we have square root of 10, take the square. Remember, that's only r, and this is r squared. Just rewrite or simplify your answer. X squared plus y minus 7 squared is equal to, just cancel the exponent and the radical sign, and this is 10. Again, this is now the standard form of the circle given The condition center is at negative 3, 7 and radius of square root of 10.